Hi Virgo, welcome to June 2020. We have an intense month ahead of ourselves, Virgo. We spoke about it in detail about the eclipse that's about to start on 5th of June. We have a lunar eclipse coming up on 5th of June, which is happening on a critical axis for you. Even in a normal year, this is a very critical period of the year for you because this is the time when sun is shining in your house of career. And at this time, we are going to have an eclipse, the first of its kind in 19 years, happening in your house of home, family, and emotional foundations. Some sort of culmination, something might be coming to focus over the course of next couple of weeks, which will highlight possibly a shift that is required in your home and family life, and that might be coming up as a result of the eclipse that's about to come. And it will also activate the balance between your career and your home and family life. Normally, around this time, with sun shining in your house of career, the focus is very much on your public standing. What kind of job you want to do, what kind of career you want to be in. It gives you impetus to go and start a new cycle in your house of career, a new way of handling your career, a new kind of profession, a new way of doing your work as well. With Venus, especially retrograde right now in your house of career, this is the time when some amount of re evaluation might be going on in your house of career, which could be rooted in a dissatisfaction that we have been avoiding for some time. It could be just that the value that you're creating in your work is not enough for the amount of work you're putting in. Or it could be that you have multiple choices and you need to decide what kind of direction you want to truly go into, and that might need reconsiderations because you might have made a choice in the past in your career on the basis of what others want out of you versus you doing what you truly love to do, and you might be reviewing what you truly want to do. This is a time when you might be attracting multiple options as well in your career because Venus is a benefactor. It is in your house of career for 4 months. It started off in May and it will extend till 7th of August in your house of career, so it will help you attract support, attract value, attract a new outlook towards the way you handle your career during this time. And Venus is our heart chakra, but so when it goes retrograde, which it is right now, which means that it is not walking straight, it's walking in the opposite direction to what it normally does. It will ask us to reconsider certain things in our career that we might have missed out while we were speeding forward. And out of that reconsideration will come a new way of doing things. It could be a new career, it could be a new job, it could be a new way of asking what you truly want in your career. And this is not just career, this is your authority. So it could be you as a head of a family, it could be you in your personal life as well, taking more ownership, more leadership of creating the things that you love, getting the true value out of the efforts that you're putting in, both in your personal and professional life, would be the theme of Venus retrograde. And Venus currently is very, very strong because it's in process of being reborn. On 3rd of June, Venus is meeting Sun, and Venus will be reincarnated in the first 10 days of the month. When Venus is reborn, our emotional patterns and how we handle that part of our life happens, and Venus is sort of converting from goddess of love to goddess of war. So it is going on a sort of on a front foot rather than being on a back foot in our career. So it's possible that you might have been sort of accepting opportunities or accepting what you were being given, or sort of just taking things in for the time being, and that might have shown you that there is some amount of disconnect, there's some amount of dissatisfaction, a gap between what you truly want to do and what you deserve versus what you're getting, what we are creating versus what we would want to create. There is a dissonance, a difference, a gap in the two, which is made evident with Venus retrograde in a house of career, and it gives us an opportunity to grow from there. It gives us an opportunity to add value in our career, to create something more valuable when it comes to our legacy to some extent, to create something that is more valuable to both us as well as to the others, because Venus is retrograde in Gemini. So it's about possibly how you communicate at work as well. How do we handle dispute at work? How do we handle certain agreements at work? And there could be certain agreements, financial agreements at work, that might have been going back and forth during this time. Do you uh, do you truly ask what you want in your career? Are you able to voice your concerns? Are you able to market yourself effectively? Are you making the kind of money that you truly want to do? Are you doing what you truly love? Are there any past projects that might be coming back in your life that are reminding you what you love to do? What gives you satisfaction? There could be a workplace romance as well that could be under consideration, because Venus is the planet of love. So there could be love for work or love at work that could be under reconsideration, restoration. Passion for your work might be getting reborn here. And when Venus gets reborn as the goddess of war, you go on a front foot and ask for what you truly deserve in your career, and that will come with its share of conflict in the coming few days, and that might already be in making. But this zest to get what you truly deserve will show up both in your personal life as well as in your professional, and it will become very evident from this first eclipse that is happening in your house of home and family. The eclipse of 5th of June is just initiating right now. It is the first of a series of eclipses that will happen over the course of next 18 months in your house of career and work, home and family. This is the axis of growth that will be in focus for the next 18 months, and that is a very, very rare transit to have, Virgo. We get that opportunity once in 19 years when North Node, the karmic point Rahu, comes in a house of career, because those 18 months become the time when the most unique opportunities of growth, of progress, of creating our unique presence in the world, they come to us. North Node is where the opportunities which we have never seen before, they start coming in, and North Node is in your house of career. It's the time to dare to take a little bit of risk in your career. Sudden shifts will come in your career. Certain developments which normally would take years and years in making will come in the next 18 months in your career. And we have a very significant eclipse on 30th of November coming in your house of career. The seeds of that will get planted right now. There might be a new phase which might be starting. You might be starting a new project. You might be starting a new way of being a leader. You might be reconsidering how you are treated at work and then asking for what you truly deserve in work. This is a very unconventional career whose seeds you're planting right now. You want to be more independent. You want to be more progressive, and that is the way to be. That is the road to success. But what it does is that the opposite side of career will be something which you'll have to release something from, and the opposite side of career is home, family and emotional foundations. So there could be less private time. Sometimes that is what happens. The emotional and inner world, we need to sort of move out of our security zone, our security blanket. When this happens, we are required to do things that we have never done before, or at least not in the 19 years. The last time nodes were here was in 2001. So if you're old enough, you can look back to 2001 to see if there was a major shift that happened in your career in 2001, 2002, which sort of set the tone for the last 19 years. This is that kind of a time, and you'll have to put your professional life, you'll have to put your external public life in the forefront. You cannot put that on a back seat right now, and you'll be driven to go and get what is your true share, what you truly deserve in your career. So there could be a break from the familiar. There could be a break from an actual family. Like it's like leaving the nest kind of a thing. So you might be leaving your place of living that you have been in before. You might be leaving your security blanket. You might be moving away from an old chapter in your personal life at this time, and this eclipse will bring that to forefront. The 5th of June eclipse is coming with a little bit of acceleration and conflict because it is being aspected by Mars. Mars is the planet of war, and we can see that in the political events right now that the impact of Mars involvement in this eclipse is already evident. Mars is a planet of war, and we start feeling the eclipse a couple of days before because the aspects start forming ahead of time. Mars is accelerating this change. There is like a cord that needs to be cut, an umbilical cord that needs to be cut, and that umbilical cord could very much be family patterns. It could be how we have been brought up, what we have been told from our childhood that this is your limitation of your existence. There could be a childhood pattern, some personal pattern of existence that needs to be shifted, that needs to be put to an end at this time, and it will not immediately happen, even though you'll be driven right now to do that. This eclipse is truly getting activated only in March of 2021. So you'll find that there could be out of an angst, out of a sort of a even a conflict. At this time, you will be driven to take some action which will fully pan out till March of 2020, where you're leaving either a place of living or you're changing the way your family structure it. There is a warfare of sort which might be happening, and I'm sorry to say that this could come with a little bit of personal conflict even. Sometimes this leads to a challenge of combat, a test of courage when it comes to our personal life. But the thing is that it exposes the patterns or a conflict that we normally avoid. It makes it almost impossible to ignore a conflict because there's something that needs to be handled. There's something that needs to be faced up, because without doing that, you cannot get the full benefit of your career. And this conflict could be within yourself. It could be and it is most likely within yourself. It is not an external conflict in my view, because the external conflict is only a reflection of what's going on within ourselves. There is war within us which is blocking us to manifest fully what we want to create, and that war is between security and dare and taking sort of a bold step. The balance between your own thinking of what a family is supposed to look like, what a home is supposed to look like, and how much I am supposed to be a participant in that, and feeling guilty if you're not enough of a participant in that, versus giving attention to your career and making things happen with clients, with external parties, with partners. That conflict within you might be blocking you from moving forward. In another way, beyond the personal life, this could be a conflict between not being able to get out of an inertia. Get out of, it's not even an inertia, it's like having a fear within you. And Virgo, this fear is not created by you. This is a family trait. This is like an ancestral fear of loss sometimes, or a fear of not making it, which may be blocking the ability to take a bold step when it comes to career. We will be brought to focus on something in our personal life that could be getting compromised as well because of being in public eye or because of being in career. The balance between your public standing or your reputation versus your personal life or security will come into focus over here. Home versus career is the axis here. And this is a fine balance that you'll walk almost for the next 18 months. That is a sort of our axis of growth, balancing the two, knowing that the material growth will come from your career by focusing on your career, and spiritual growth or even comfort to some extent will come by selflessly giving to your family life to some extent or to your personal life, and emotional or spiritual benefit will come from releasing old emotional patterns as well. And this will be a biggest shift you have experienced, in my view, in the last 20 years. on a mundane level, on a day-to-day basis, there could be an actual move that is coming about as a result of this eclipse. This can be very, very true. If you have planets around 15 or 16 degree of Virgo, there could be an actual relocation. So if you're a Virgo sun, who's born around 7th of September, 3 days before, 3 days after, or if you have planets in Virgo, ascendant or moon, especially Virgo moon, around 15 or 16 degree, there could be an actual shift move that might be coming. You might be relocating, you might be moving to a foreign home, or you might need to create more than one home. You might be required to create a home away from home. You might be putting roots somewhere which is away from your home country, or you might be putting roots somewhere which is away from your family. You might need to stay away a little bit from your family, and you might be preparing for that. At this time, family life in general can get suddenly activated during this eclipse after 5th of June. There could be like something requires your urgent attention in home. It could be something in home that requires renovation. Home requires, there's a lease that is coming up and you need to sort of negotiate that, or parents are coming, or families coming over, or property matters comes to focus, and that is just the mundane way or a day-to-day way through which the attention will be brought to something that needs to be shifted in your home family life. Essentially, you might be looking at closing on a property. It could be a property that you need to acquire for for spiritual or for business purposes. It could be a fixed asset. It could be a travel asset like a car, or you're even figuring out how do I travel going forward, because Sagittarius rules travel. So you might be figuring out, does the location of my home suits my work location or not? So you might be looking at that. But this is coming with South Node. South Node is about release. So it's possible that you might be selling off a property. You might be figuring out that I have invested way too much in property or in real estate, and it's the time to move out of it. You might be releasing a lease as well. And last year in 2019, Jupiter was here. So you might have expanded in real estate in some ways. You might have bought real estate, or you might have bought an expansion in the house, and you might decide, I don't need this. I need to get lighter on my feet to some extent. So you might be reducing some burden. This is a closure eclipse. So something needs to be released for you to be lighter, for you to proceed forward in your career. So something is dropped, something is released. Even as a emotional pattern, something is released which is holding you down. It could be a family history that is holding you down, how the parent possibly spoke to you. It could be a parenting style that is holding you down. You possibly cannot do all the things that you want to do as a parent right now, and you need to make that part of your life a little bit more efficient. You might be looking to find a home that is more efficient for your career life. Maybe the structure of the home needs to be changed for your career to be accommodated. You might be looking to sort of change the real estate investments that you have, or the home renovation needs to be done to make it more valuable. You might be looking to find some amount of support from your family, maybe from your parent at this time, because your career needs a lot more attention. You might be deciding to bring your family over so you can, pay more attention to your career at this time. And Mars at the same time, Virgo, is in your house of partnerships. And so you might be focused on sort of a contract, or on a client, or on a relationship, to sort of bring it to the next level. You might be working hard on a partnership situation in this time, which can be exciting, but it can also be conflict driven, meaning it might require a lot more of your attention. So at a time when you're sort of restructuring your home and family life, you're required to work maybe on a contract. Maybe you're required to give your attention to a client or a business partner, a conflict with a business partner, or a conflict with your marriage partner or a personal partner might be in process at the time. And there's something at loggerheads over here. There's an issue that we might have been avoiding in the past that comes into focus during this eclipse, and it will build up in the coming days, because we're going to have Mars together with Sun on 6th of June. So pretty much in the first 10 days of this month, you might find yourself in this tug of war between home and family, and trying to work on a contract, trying to work on a relationship, taking it to the next level. And there's a blockage that needs to be cleared as a result of that. Other than that, we have Neptune standing still in your house of contracts and partnership as well. So there's some amount of confusion. We don't have full information possibly about that contract or about that business partner, or there might be confusion between you and your partner to some extent. The lines are not clear, the roles and responsibilities and who shares what part of the burden is not clear, and that is creating some amount of confusion over here that needs clarity. My guidance on that is, first of all, on a business basis, be a little bit more careful on the client communication this month, because there are some slips that are possible when Neptune is so strong. Neptune is fog. It is a very dreamy energy. It can create larger than life things out of nothing. So being a little bit careful about client communication is important. It is very important for you, and please, I would very much request you to do that. If there's a financial negotiation in process with a client, with a business partner, or with your marriage partner or spouse at this time, a joint financial situation, you want to be very, very careful this month. You want to be very, very careful, especially around 11th or 13th of June on that. And this is especially true if you have planets around 21 degree of Virgo, which is around 13th of September born. This is a time when things are up in the air. But the thing with Neptune is that we don't realize that things are up in the air. It creates like a fog. It helps us go beyond our current existence, because it helps us dream bigger than what we have right now. But you understand, Neptune is like wine, right? You have a little bit of it and you just feel happy about things. You feel easier about things. But if you have too much of it, we can commit a lot of mistakes here. And Neptune is in your house of partnerships, contracts, and client relationships, which means that you will be much more permissive than you have been in the past about your joint situation. So it's possible that some elements which are not truly good for you, or they're deceptive in nature, or a partner can be a little bit deceptive over here. There could be confusion, even disappointment that can come about in your relationships and partnerships. And it's possible that there might be a myth related to a confusion, or somebody was faking something and it comes to light around 13th of June to you, because Neptune is going to meet Mars. It's the time when you'll be very, very actively working on a contract, working on your partnership. It can be very, very exciting if you're sort of trying to create something larger than life. You're trying to create something idealistic. But in the idealistic, you want to be careful that you're not being taken advantage of. So using a third party mediation, especially if it's a financial matter, taking reconsideration from another people. Venus is right now retrograde. Venus is the planet of finances. When it is retrograde, big financial decisions I do not recommend to do. It's a good time to review it, to review your rates, to review what you're being paid, to sort of old contracts. They might come for sort of reconsideration, and repricing your services. It's a good time to do that. But signing new contracts which involve the other people, which have big financial underpinning, it's better to put either disclaimers so you can change them, because there is something more than you are seeing right now that is yet to come to surface. And it will come pretty soon, with Neptune going retrograde around end of June. So in July, things may look completely different. It's possible that this give and take may become unprofitable for you after July. So you want to be a little bit hold on to things right now, not commit too much at this stage, being careful if you are being taken advantage of, or you're being very permissive when it comes to your partner. Neptune in your house of partnership is excellent, Virgo, for you to do things for others selflessly. It's where, we do things for other as a charity. We bring them up, we help them. It makes you very, very attractive, even more attractive and charming to people, because Neptune is like a cinema the syndrome, right? So it's like, people look at you like a star. So being that person who attracts attention, who's in a, in mind of people, who can captivate people's attention in a negotiation, in a discussion, but you are very, very open to giving right now. So you'll make sacrifices for other people. This is unselfish love for others, which is excellent for you to give to others, but your boundaries are lowered. So all sort of influences can come in and all sort of people can come in. You have to be a little bit mindful of that. Do it proactively. Giving to others proactively reduces the impact of Neptune to some extent, because you have already done it. You have already given selfless love to somebody. Being selfless with your partner in some ways, when we are giving selflessly while knowing that we are doing it, then it is positive. But if we are giving without knowing that we are, selflessly giving right now, then it can be cheating, right? So as long as you are aware that you are doing it, that you're making sacrifice for other people, and you will be, as a sign, you naturally gravitate towards doing that. Neptune is going to create a fog that we don't even know that it's happening. It's like we are being leached by others without knowing it. And you can physically feel drained when that happens. And I've said this before as well to you. With Neptune over here, you can feel that somebody is draining the energy from you. It's like your perception is very, very high. You'll feel physically deflated when you're being used by somebody. You'll feel physically that something is not right when other person is trying to take advantage of you. You'll feel that your immunity drops. You feel a little bit deflated in your confidence to some extent. There's a need for you to create a perfect relationship, this dream about a perfect relationship, because of which Virgos tend to give a lot more in their partnership than any other sign. They give selfless love non-stop. I've said this before. Virgos have the biggest heart. Even in their DNA, that's how they're programmed to some extent. They have the biggest heart. But with Neptune transit over here, and it's a long-term transit till 2025, Neptune is here. Since 2011 to 2025, Neptune is in your house of partnership. It creates a dream, almost an impossible dream of a perfect relationship. So nobody and anybody can come up to that standard, to be very honest with you. Nobody will, you'll not feel that anybody will be good enough, because uh, it's like a higher octave of love. This is a love beyond boundaries, where people do things for each other without having any selfish interest, which in real life does not exist. So, going with that higher octave of love in the world, it happens that you might be disappointed sometimes. It's possible that other people will try to take advantage of that higher octave that you are operating on, and it makes you, as I said, very, very attractive to other person. But you have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of your own energy. You have to take care of people who you are dealing with on a day-to-day basis, in terms of your work, especially financial work with other. So there could be some amount of cheating or paranoia or delusion that might be involved with partnerships that you want to be beware of. There would be something that will come to open. Neptune will go direct. This is the process that your life is going to go through till 2025. It's a process through which we learn a very different way of loving others. And it's not the easiest. It's one of the toughest transits to have, where through dissolution, through even cheating to some extent, through the other person even sometimes taking us for a ride, we learn a very different way of loving people. We learn to love without expectation. We learn to love without inhibition, without restriction, because you cannot restrict your heart. You cannot restrict your heart. It will block you from doing other things as well if you restrict your heart. But at the same time, you do it selflessly. You love others selflessly. You get involved in relationships selflessly. You grow your partners selflessly to some extent. And that somehow flows. If you manage that balance, it somehow flows in your career. It's like handling your partner, handling your business partner, handling the others, perfecting the art of handling the adversaries, the critics, the partner, the others, somehow will flow in a positive fashion in your career. It will help you grow in your career because it has both sides. It makes you very, very attractive to others, professionally and personally. So, in my view, giving up relationships or partnerships is not the road to success. Handling them in the right way, and this month will bring up a fight, it will bring up a conflict in which you will be challenged to come up to curve in how you handle your adversaries, how you handle your opposition, how do you face your partners boldly, and there'll be a shift you will experience in how you handle your opponents, your critics, your enemies, your partners, and how we fight that battle is a measure of how much you will professionally gain. And it's a fight I will request you to not back off from. It doesn't mean that we aggravate the fight, but learn how to fight it effectively. So, apart from that, as I said, the other thing is need to review. Is there any unfinished business with a parent? Is there unfinished business in our own personal life that is coming in our way of connecting with others? It could be patterns that we acquired in early life, or we were told, oh, you're not a social person, or you're not a person who will be liked in some ways. Unfortunately, some pattern that we have acquired early in life, they could be coming in the way of connecting with others. We might even in some cases projecting that unfortunately and unfairly on a partner sometimes. Uh, Actual unfinished business with a parent can be projected onto a partner, and this is especially a father. Some unfinished business with a father sometimes gets projected onto a partner. So a issue with a father which might have happened early in life, that can come into focus as well for you to handle it for once. It's the time when you'll be driven to handle your connections, driven to connect with others. And for that, something needs to be released which is from your past life, that is from your old comfort level, old emotional pattern. Sometimes our own complexes are coming in the way to be fair and objective to others. There could be lack in the early nourishment. There could be lack in security in early life, which is blocking you now to partner with people who are completely different from you, or blocking you into going into a contract, which sort of is questioning, do I dare? So you'll find those conflicts, in my view, come up over here. But Pluto and Jupiter, both of them, they're making a positive aspect with you. When this happens, we are driven to follow our passion. So I don't think it will stop you from doing things, from taking risk. And you must take some risk. As I said, in your career, Jupiter is going to support that. It is going to drive you towards it. Pluto will give you confidence. Jupiter will give you luck and opportunities to take risk in your career. And they are in positive aspect with you. And Pluto and Jupiter are together this month in your house of risk, in your house of romance, in your house of luck, for out of speculative trades even. So both of them together will ask you to face the new challenge in your career, to take it to the next level with a lot of confidence. This is especially true if you have planets around 24 degree of Virgo, which is around 16th of September born. Jupiter is right now expanding your ability to take risk in life. So if you have planets around 24 degree of Virgo, or if you're born around 16th of September, you will be driven to take a leap of faith. You'll be driven to do things which you have not done before, but you have always been passionate about. You'll be driven to create and expand your legacy with the changes you're making this month, and they will continue till November. Jupiter and Pluto are together here till November. They are going to create once in a lifetime opportunities, in terms of, sheer luck, helping you to expand what you have done, or expand your legacy, expand the benefits that you get out of your career. So take a little bit of risk, get out of your comfort zone, get out of inertia, resolve the personal issues that will come up as a result of this eclipse, because they're important for you to move forward in your external life. Good luck for that, Virgo, and I'll see you in the next video now. Thank you.